Okay, last couple of examples. We've talked about soliciting. Let's talk about stewardship real quick. Email now gives me a way to cost effectively thank people for their gifts in an ongoing way. So here's UCLA's annual fund donor newsletter that goes out a couple times a year. It welcomes the latest new members to their giving societies, which I hadn't seen before. You know, we have these giving levels, and they're usually tick boxes on the pledge card, and they're in the list of donors maybe once a year, you know, if we have the budget to print the list of donors. So to actually talk about the giving levels in an ongoing way and welcome to the latest new members of our societies is a great marketing idea that I hadn't ever seen anybody do before internet and the email came along. They talk about student fundraising. If you give to the senior gift campaign at UCLA, you get a free In-N-Out burger. If you've ever had an In-N-Out burger, that's more than enough motivation to give to the UCLA Annual Fund. I just got this email a couple weeks ago inviting me to add my name to a virtual donor wall at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Chicago. And you go click on that link and you can see in real time all the latest donor names that have been added to their virtual donor wall. I thought that was a creative use of the internet as well. Here's one more YouTube video I want to share with you. This good priest at the Catholic University, in keeping with the theme of the parent chair, I guess. This is all designed by students. It cost Catholic University nothing. But if you're a donor to Catholic U, you can't tell me you don't love getting this communication from their university. It starts a little quiet and then it builds up. Student design.
Thank you.
Your ongoing contributions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, alumni.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your donations. You've helped make CUA a better place.
Thank you, alumni.
Thank you for KTG.
Gracias.
Danke.
Thank you for your donations and your generosity and your support.
Thank you.
Thanks for helping out CUA softball and CUA track.
Thank you.
Thanks for your donations. They really help us out.
CUA alumni, we missed you. You're the best. Thank you for all your support.
It doesn't cost anything, and if you track your retention rates at all, this is makes it awfully. These are the students giving themselves credit at the end of the video. Remember, my budget always had to go to soliciting gifts. I didn't have any money left over to say thanks to people, but this is. Some people would argue this is really the first solicitation for next year, is the remembrance that people have of how nice they were thanking me for my gift. Okay, we just have a couple of slides left, and we started a little bit late, so let's just make a couple last thoughts. In the U.S., I give all of you credit for really being a couple of steps ahead of my American friends in the idea of ongoing giving to an institution. But I think it's really starting to come over the hill now. You know, the idea that it's one more gift that I don't have to renew next year, and the fact that I can always go back to ongoing donors and ask them to increase their gift. You know, it's not that I have to treat them as hands off until their gift expires or whatever. And depending on what kind of betting person you are, I work with a lot of proud phone-a-thon managers who say, don't rob me of the chance to get an upgrade next year. Let me at them. You know, we have to be able to call these people every year. Well, you still can, but in the meantime, why not secure an ongoing gift? And the fact that it's become so user-friendly to do that, I think really makes it worth our paying attention to as a fundraising strategy. So here's Stanford's online giving page. Notice that I can have this go indefinitely, you know, until revoked in writing. Give until I tell you to stop giving, you know. And they summarize what the total gift is, what the gift this year is, what the gift amount in the calendar year is. A lot of functionality that just didn't exist before. And, you know, the gift processing people in previous years would want to shoot anybody who showed up with too many of these gifts that they had to process, you know, once a month. But now I see banks and vendors that are completely streamlining that process. And I just think, you know, as mobile phone people continue to be tricky to reach, and as people start to really get an attitude about paper mail, I think this just becomes a more important tool to think about in the mix of annual giving programs. I now see recognition societies too forming about ongoing gift support. So here's the Alley Cat Ally Association who wants to recognize you as a member of the Catalyst Society, and to be a member of the society you have to be a monthly donor. If we're going to try to motivate people's behavior, then let's applaud behavior through things like monthly giving. One more point to make about online giving is that it's not just web giving, it's environmentally friendly giving. And so here's Macalester College, also in deepest, darkest Minnesota, saying, you know what, it's not just web giving, it's green giving. And I think that message is going to resonate more and more with people over the next couple of years as well. I now increasingly hear people saying, why are we sending all this paper out with our appeals? Isn't there a more environmentally conscious thing we can do? And so keep that thought in your mix of things as well. Okay, my last point, and again, I heard this in the plenary session. I think sometimes there's a temptation to come to a session like this saying, well, if we just find that right killer application, then the money will raise itself. And as I've tried to talk about in this session, it's an additional tool for what we do. It's a way for me to get volunteers and advocates in front of my prospects. It's still going to require you to get advocates and get volunteers who want to help you tell your story. And the mechanics of the transaction have gotten easier, but you're not going to inspire people, through a third-party tool like the internet just by itself. So keep that in mind. I think that's it. Okay, we have a couple more minutes, so if anybody has any quick questions, I'm happy to take them, but that's the shtick for today.